Welcome back to another episode of Unbiased Sports Talk. I'm here with my man, Coach Mills, brother man, E down low. We're down one tonight, but we still gonna, have a good pod.
Leave a comment about what we should do with him.
What's the punishment for missing a pod? Oh man. I mean, but let's get straight to it, man. Even we're down one from the team. We didn't bring anybody to replace him, but we still gonna keep it going.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of replacements, though, it's two guys in the news named Russell who replace key members of key teams of storied franchises. Of those two, who do y'all feel is dropping the ball more? Is Russell dropping the ball more with the storied Broncos? Or is Russell Westbrook dropping the ball more with the storied Lakers?
That wasn't the question off air.
Changing it up, boy.
You could have just kept it going with me. You didn't throw me out there in front of the fans like that.
Hey, that's fine. That's tough.
But I mean, like the question though was, who's worse off? Who's doing worse? In essence, who's dropping the ball more? Like I said, both of them are there to lead a team in essence. Russell has kind of taken on the role of leading whatever team he's been on, like Westbrook and both Wilson. But with Westbrook, he's used to being top dog, or if the top dog was there, he's used to pushing himself forward to outshine the top dog. Because even with Oklahoma City, everybody knew KD was a beast. But Russell made sure he pushed forward to kind of step out in front. Almost like in Drumline. Remember when Drumline dude had the solo? And he was killing the solo, but Nick Cannon stepped out like, nah, I'm about to do it too. I can't read the music, but I know your solo and I'm about to take it. To me, that's how Russell kind of stepped out in front in that franchise. And with everybody already gone, that's when it became the triple-double show. And it went to the Rockets. It's only one ball. You got two ball dominant players. Then from there, you bounce around. Now he's found his way to the Lakers. With the Lakers, you got multiple people who are ball dominant. They're they're an off-ball team now when I see Patrick Beverley kind of hold the ball, but it's not many off-ball players when Russ has the ball. It's a different kind of flow to the team. And even now, like the video making its rounds of, kind of Pat Bev calling like a in-game huddle. And who's the one that's out in the pasture, not even getting in with everything? Russ. But then on the flip side now, we're talking about Russell Wilson. This is not the Russell Wilson. This is not the danger Russ we've been seeing for these past years that he's been playing. Like, we saw one of the worst Thursday night football games ever on Amazon Prime when nothing else is going on. And it's just terrible. It's not the same guy. Like, is it a personnel thing? Because he's never had big name receivers like that. So we can't really call it like that. Like, we haven't really seen him have like, a premier top pick, correct? When it comes to receiver?
First,
go.
I'm sorry. Go on.
No. I wasn't rhetorical. I was trying to put that out there.
Yeah.
So, but he's always made do. He's one thing he's known for, having that premier running back in beast mode, of course. But outside of that, they were built off their defense. The Broncos don't kind of have that defense like they used to. Pretty much most of their pieces are gone now that kind of dominated on defense. I don't know. What's y'all takes going forward, man?
I think this is a hard topic just because we've already seen a full season of Russell Westbrook and with the LA Lakers, and the Denver Broncos season is not over.
It's far from it.
Things can change. I would say right now, who's dropping the ball with their team? I would say Russell Wilson. Why? It's because you have the most important position in sports. You have by far, actually take that back, you have the hardest position in sports. And, looking at his resume, he's a former, Super Bowl champion. He's been an MVP candidate about 3 times, if I believe. And, you know, he's married to Sierra. So, all that to be said,
Why? Why just to plug in this Sierra bit?
and
Right.
honestly, and another thing too is the money that he got paid and the extension he got before he even played a down. Let's forget the first money he got. He got an extension on top of that. He didn't even play it down. So that's what makes it even look worse what's going on over there at Denver. And honestly,
Yeah.
I'm going to shake up the crowd. People, leave a comment. Whatever, overhyped, overrated. I think Russell Wilson's that. And I only just say this because of this, right? And it's only, I'm using this in the sense that when you want to compare him to something to someone else. Russell Wilson is still a great quarterback. Let me put that out there. But then he is not in the same sentences of other people, like the Peyton Mannings, the Toms, the Montanas, those guys, because looking at his game so far, even though the season is not over, so far, his game is not universal. So far, you know, that's my opinion. Why I think it's Russell Wilson.
I mean, I can agree with that. His game has not translated, like, because when we bring up Peyton Manning, his first year with the Broncos, doggone their historical numbers. Like he made them look like an entirely new franchise, dropping 40 and 50 bombs on teams easily.
So now don't get me wrong though. It's an 11-man game, you know. So I mean, there's a lot of factors of why teams is not winning ball games, why a quarterback's not being successful. You still need a line to block. You still need the run game to be successful. You still need wide receivers to catch the ball. You know, so there's a lot that plays into that. That's why I say it's a very hard conversation, because at the end of the day, you're talking about 2-team sports. I would say who has a little bit more control of the outcome is Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook has way more control of being successful than a Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
You mean? Because at the end of the day, you know, especially the NBA season, because I'm not gonna lie, this has been my opinion about the NBA season. The NBA season is professional pickup. Coaching does not get involved to the playoffs. So all that to be said and everything, Russell, and I'm a Russell fan, there are choices that he should not be making. He's making those choices. And those are the choices he has to live with when he's making those bad decisions. But as far as like the question that goes though, who's dropping the ball right now? The word is right now. I'll say Russell.
So I was going to say Westbrook at first, based off of, again, he's had a whole season, like you said earlier. So we've kind of seen what he's done with the LA Lakers, and we're already seeing in the preseason he's struggling to kind of gel with this new team, with the new pieces they have in Pat Bev, like the moment you brought up with them trying to bring in the huddle and him throwing the ball back and forth with the opposing team in the other preseason game this week. So I was going to go that route, but if we're talking about expectations, which I think is what we're kind of really getting at, what is the expectations? Are they living up to the expectations? I think I have to go with you, Ron, in that Wilson right now is not living up to expectations, because they both getting paid. Both players getting paid. But like you said, you're looking for your quarterback to be that difference maker in a football team and get that team over the hump. And right now, I think he's had opportunities to win, and he hasn't produced. He's thrown interceptions, which lost him a game. And so I think right now you have to say that, based on the question, that Wilson is not living up to the expectation that people have for him, because he has been a winner in the past. He has delivered, but right now he's not looking like that franchise quarterback that he's been in the past, and you paying him franchise quarterback money. So I would have to agree with you right now that it is Russell Wilson. But Westbrook is right there behind him. So I think that's why this is a great comparison, because you both getting paid, you both are looked to be a difference maker on your teams and help your teams get to the promised land. And right now, I don't think either one of them are looking like that type of player.
I got a question for you though, E. If Russell was a Sacramento King, will we be having this conversation?
No, because there's no expectation of them winning a chip.
But there's no expectation for the Denver Broncos to be winning the ship, though. It's just that you expect them to play better. We're not saying that they're going to go to ship.
If Westbrook was on the Sacramento Kings and they were getting blown out every game, not competing, then yes, then I would say it would be comparable. I would blame Westbrook. It's like, hey, you getting paid this, you're supposed to be the franchise guy, you're supposed to lead this team. They should at least be competitive. So if they were not being competitive, then yeah, I would say that would be comparable.
I mean, like on the Sacramento Kings, that's a hard comparison compared to the Lakers.
Yeah,
talking about a storied franchise versus one of the worst drafting teams ever.
Yeah, but that's my point about, in the sense of where Russell is more on the LA Lakers. It's more of a magnified team than the Denver Broncos. I feel like with Russell Westbrook, being on the what you don't make that face. You think,
no.
the Broncos is right there?
I don't think the Broncos is like the Kings though. Like, because I mean, again, they're not far removed.
I'm saying, hear my point. No. I'm not saying that the Broncos is like the Kings. I'm saying because Russell being on the Lakers has magnified everything about his life.
Yeah, because he's also on there with another top player in the league, with another two top players in the league.
I don't know if it's magnified. I think he still gets the same amount of coverage, maybe slightly more coverage because it's LA and they're in a big market compared to when he was in OKC. But when he had KD with him, I mean, the media, the folks like Stephen A. and all of them were still talking about Westbrook. I think just as much as they talk about him now.
Yeah, because he's still a former MVP. When you're a former MVP, you're going to be in the conversation regardless.
Yeah, the triple doubles, so he was getting coverage.
True.
But at the same time, like now, it's not the same performance as it was before.
Right.
It's not the same ability where they're like, is he more so exposed as, all right, now because they're not boxing out for you to get these rebounds, and there are other players who are actively getting the rebounds, getting the assists, is what he did is still great?
What?
I'm just saying, like,
it's still great, but you're right. It is exposing that clearly OKC was helping and allowing him to get these
they
stats,
catered to his play style.
into these stats, right? So that was conducive to him getting those triple doubles, and it's not going to be that way when you're on a team that has these dominant stars who are also getting numbers, who are also competing day in and day out to. Not, I wouldn't say pad their stats, but they're trying to get stats as well. So like AD's not just going to back out the way and let Westbrook get the rebound so you can get triple double. He's going to try to get his numbers too. So he doesn't have that type of team that's just going to allow him to get all the stats. So I agree with you. That's not going to happen on the Lakers.
And then like at the same time,
you disagree?
Side,
hold on. Ron over here, you disagree with that?
I think he disagrees.
Because I just heard certain words about patent stats and everything, and I just remember a lot of conversations and a lot of certain stats that I heard and everything. I just think there's the Lakers is a shit show just all around.
Yeah, I mean, like, granted, it's very hard to still get a triple double. It's a very hard thing to do. He did not, take any plays off. He played at a high level still, and he still, played with the pedal to the metal, but at the same time, it's not people catering to his play style like it was before. Like that Lakers team caters to LeBron's play style.
Yeah, I mean,
they cater to AD's play style.
But they have a similar play style, honestly.
I know, but only works when one person does.
Russell, they have a similar. It's not totally similar, but it's similar. Yeah. They both require this. They both require the same thing on the floor. They both require shooters to make it up.
They need a go-to score.
Yeah, like a shooter that they have and everything. They need similar things. They both, and I want to be clear because I told this to someone earlier today because I was talking about talent. To be clear, every team needs talent. Every team needs talent. You say, of course, some people, Marlon, you got to hold their hand. Every team needs Every team needs talent. But
Everybody needs some people who put the ball in best.
yeah,
Point
but
blank,
there are players that need certain type of talent as well too in order to be successful.
They got to play their role.
Right. I think what's going on with Russell, then we'll get back to Russell Wilson. I think what's going on with Russell is this. He's used to controlling the pace of the team, which is fast paced. He, to me, is a full court player. Now he has to adjust to being a half court player. And not only does he have to adjust to being the half court player, but he also has to adjust to being the third option on the team behind LeBron and behind AD. Now, with that being said and everything, if we all play, I mean, we're not if, y'all played ball before. You know how hard it is to get yours off under 24 seconds?
Yeah, but at the same time, granted, he's had 82 plus games to do this.
But
Russell Wilson, it only gets 15, 16, maybe 17.
True. No. True. Well, no,
And this is his first season.
No, yeah, we already established that. I'm just
I
saying.
understand.
Yeah,
In
I'm just
general,
saying the levels of difficulties and stuff and everything. Especially like, you know, Russ has to play behind criticism now and added pressure of being a Laker. You know, because let's not forget, Russ is not the only person who's came to LA and had a lot of pressure of being a Laker. Now, I'm not justifying his play. His play is not good, right? But at the same time, it's one of those things I can understand. And me personally, I think they use him too much as an scapegoat, especially when the LeBron and AD for the past 2 years have only played 49 games with each other. And at least Russ last year played 75, 73 games.
Russ was available.
But the problem I have with Russell, if he ever gets a chance to listen to this pod, his play gets even more highlighted based off your interviews afterwards, because you try to play the shit off, or you get mad at the media and everything. So that's when your play gets heightened even more.
Because it's not a controlled response a lot of times. It becomes like a look at everybody else and look at me type thing. But at the same time, like I said, the position you put yourself in from the level you've played at, if it's not the same level, it's gonna get criticized.
Yeah.
Like I said, anytime LeBron has an off night, it's the worst thing in the world till he comes back with another great night. It's the same. Anytime AD gets hurt, first thing they say, "Oh, he's down again." It's whatever your lowest point is as a professional athlete is probably your worst point. And then that's what point they're going to harp on. They hardly harp on the greatest things. Look at Jordan. They harp on his Wizards years, which weren't even that bad.
Yeah.
They just weren't. It just weren't his Chicago years.
Yeah. But I will combat you on LeBron, though. I feel like with LeBron has came to the point in his career, it's everyone else but him.
I mean, look, man. but before we even try to go down that rabbit hole,
that's another conversation.
but
I think you bring up valid points though, because you mentioned it earlier. Moving forward for Russell Westbrook on the Lakers, I don't foresee it getting better for the Lakers because they got a new coach, they got new players. So it's again trying to figure out how you fit in, how you're going to play. So I think they're probably going to struggle. Now, whether that they figure it out through the course of the season, maybe. But I put the responsibility, and I don't want to get into debate on this, on LeBron, because you're supposed to be the leader. You need to help lead by example. The reason I bring that up, take for example, I'm sure you watched it, the Netflix documentary on the Redeem team. As soon as they bought your boy in Kobe, changed the culture.
Oh, the culture changed. They wasn't partying no more.
Right. They weren't partying. They started lifting weights. They started playing defense. They started getting into it. So you need somebody that's going to really set the tone. Maybe that's Pat Bev. Maybe that's him.
It seems like
Maybe
it is Pat Bev.
We'll see. But I think that is going to be critical for them moving forward. And whether or not Westbrook decides to get on that game plan. Because right now it's looking like he's trying to be on the outside. And there's talks of trades and all that type of stuff coming up now. So maybe he's fed up. Maybe he's like, well, fuck it, y'all don't want me here, so I'm out.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what's going on. But if that's the case, hopefully they can get a good package. But if not, he's got to figure it out.
I mean, Pat Bev is, from what you can see right now, he's a locker room guy. The fact that off rip, guys are gravitating towards him, he's a leader. He doesn't have to be a leading scorer, a leading stat producer, anything like that, but he takes control. There are going to be guys that just naturally take control of teams because they have that personality. Speaking of which, there recently was a story in the news about a well-known locker room leader, team leader, who had to, well, I don't say he had to, but he got into an altercation with another teammate, which led to it getting physical. Speaking of Draymond Green and Jordan Poole.
Oh, that's more than physical.
I'm just saying, it got physical.
That's more than physical.
Superman punch.
That's a bouncer move.
Like, thing is, like I said, you can never judge, like I said, you can never expect somebody to meet you at the level that you put out. Like I said, if you put out shouting, somebody meets you with physical violence, you can't expect them to have the same level of physical violence you had back. If I push you, I can't expect you to push me back. This ain't, it's not middle school. Not everybody's gonna have a shoving match to see who wins the shove. Because you remember that. You saw somebody, if somebody got a better shove than you, like, I might not want to do this right now. I'm saying, let's be fair. Draymond's from Saginaw, Michigan. That is a rough place. He's not gonna give anybody the opportunity to get one off on him. I'm not justifying anything he did, but at the same time, if he's in your face, he's from a very tough area to live at. The stories they talk about, he was a young kid trying to play pickup with adults, getting into fights with adults. So this is not something that's new to him. But at the same time, I don't think it's something that he had to do. But from what people were talking about, Jordan Poole, his head got big. Like I said, he went from, role player, 13 man off the bench, to now it's pool party. He got the new deal, everything. So he got. No, I'm saying this is not my word. This. They say his swagger didn't change. His chest got big, head got big. I mean, you got to think about it. Last year he wasn't an NBA champion. Now he's an NBA champion. Now he feels, I contribute. I got my shots off. People know my name out here in these streets. Draymond's still like, no, the old guard is still here. I'm still, the chief in this place. I gotta let you know that. And I heard it's just going back and forth, back and forth. Of course, people made jokes. He made quadruple single jokes, things of that nature. Because Draymond's known for getting one of every stat at least. But like I said, that's still wild to me that number one, we should never know about this.
That's what I was going to say.
Think about Steve Kerr and Jordan. When Jordan punched Kerr, we didn't know till later. We didn't know till years down the line. Because if we knew about that, you think they could have played the next day? No. They wouldn't still be teammates. It's been exposed out there, and that brings a level of embarrassment and a level that you have to address it now. Like, these guys, people are such opportunists. Like, this is somebody of their own, organization that sold that footage. Now, whatever do they do now, they'll never get hired in the NBA ever again. That's gone. But at the same time, I don't think you should go around punching people like that. Like I said, if y'all got to do something, if y'all really feel that bad about it, if y'all really have to go that hard, old school, just, hey, y'all get in the locker room, 5 minutes. We come back. If it ain't over, it ain't over.
Man, forget punching Marlon. He dropped him.
He dropped. I know. But like I said,
that's a little bit
because, like I said, it's people built different. When people called it a sucker punch, that was a punch that's a practice punch. That punch has been going on forever. Like that's not the first time him throwing that punch.
This is my take on it, and this is where when I heard Draymond's press conference stuff, I have to agree. Out of all the practices that were filmed, why that one? You know what I mean? Because let's be real. We all play sports. We've all seen some shit almost every other week in practice. I got a story. I'm not gonna say his name though, but
I remember. I remember talking about. I remember you talking about. It wasn't even in practice. It was before practice, and it was a similar thing. It was one punch, and then it was it. Well, I've seen it happen, and the thing is, but in that instance, it never left our circle.
It never did, bro. Listen,
And like that's because we can't have anybody in our circle looked at different because of a moment.
right.
We know his worth is bigger than that moment, and he went on. He's still going, and he's still doing great things in life. But if his life got defined by that moment because it got out, that'd be terrible.
Yeah. Because I would say this, right? Going back to your point about Steve Kerr and Michael Jordan, right? Because we all heard the rumors, you know what I mean? Because there's a rumor until someone says otherwise, right? We all heard the rumor that Michael Jordan hit Steve Kerr. Michael Jordan confirmed it. Yeah, I hit Steve Kerr. The video is what makes it worse. And if you remember, Michael Jordan didn't even want to do the Last Dance because he didn't want people to have a certain bad image of him because of his leadership and stuff, right? So I think don't get me wrong, Draymond's wrong because he's wrong he's wrong in a lot of ways. And you're talking to a trash talker myself. Trash talking should not lead up to the point where you need to get face to face with a guy. Now you're making it more personal. Not only that, you walked up onto him.
Yeah, we saw like I said, I'm not justifying anybody. We saw the last 30 seconds.
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
We don't know what happened the entire time. We don't know if it got chippy during everything.
Oh yeah, I mean,
because that right there, that's a boiling point. A boiling point does not happen in 30 seconds.
Oh no, for sure.
That's a well over time thing.
Right now, but now we know you're very true. Now we're just speculating what probably could have happened prior to that. So I'm speculating the fact is this: they was exchanging words for a good minute, right? And you could estimate what the time could be. I've seen shit happen within 50 seconds. They said something, and you turn around, he's down. I'm like, what the hell just happened, right?
Yeah.
So,
or go to whole practice.
Right.
It could have had nothing to do with you when you got hit. It could have been something that's going on in their life, anything else, and then they took it out on you because it was that moment.
Right. So, in a nutshell, you know the rule. What happens in the locker room stays in the locker room. I wish you would have stayed in the locker room and everything because now, a whole new conversation is about to happen and stuff. Which honestly, with the information I'm hearing, I might have to agree. This might be Draymond's last year.
Oh, people are talking about there got trade rumors.
Yeah, already.
That's the thing.
I don't think he'll get traded. I think that'd be crazy. That'd be pretty much dumb.
Yeah, I mean, who do you keep then? Because it's going to be hard for them to play.
They got the young guys coming. So I think that's part of the reason maybe why this got leaked, so that they can be justified and get it. But again, I think that's a mistake because I think there's people forgetting how impactful Draymond is to that team and what he brings to the team, both defensively and offensively. So yeah, he may not be dropping Jordan Poole numbers from a point standpoint.
He'll just drop
other things. Yeah, he'll drop. But there's other things he's providing that these other guys aren't do. So it goes back to every championship team and every great team has role players, people that play their roles. If you get rid of Draymond, who's going to play that role? Who's going to do that hard work, that dirty work that Jordan Poole ain't going to do? Curry's not going to do. Klay Thompson's not
utility
man.
But I'm not. But not just a utility man. Let's say also
Kaminga.
He
ain't Draymond.
But I'm saying that certain character. You feel me? Because Ben Simmons is a utility player, but he doesn't carry the same personality as Draymond.
He doesn't command a room. Draymond commands a room. Right. He commands a room, commands a team.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Draymond has got multiple hats he wears on that team. And so you can have a different person be that utility guy, but not necessarily be that leader, that emotional leader that Draymond is, right? That could be somebody else. So it goes back to your point about Ben. Ben does certain things. He's that guy. He's that role player. Somebody else is doing that leadership role or the emotional role. So that can be done. But I'm just strictly talking about what he does on the court. Who are they going to have replace him doing that? I don't think they currently have that right now.
They don't. Like I said, he heard Draymond mic'd up on defense. That man controls the entire defense. It's like watching a DJ make a beat. Like he's telling everybody exactly where to be.
Exactly. He's one of the main reasons why that switching defense works.
I'm not gonna lie. The pieces I saw on the Warriors, they could win a ship without him. I'm not gonna lie.
They could. Like I said, they had the ability.
They have it.
But do they have, like I said, the mentality?
Because there was
the ability and mentality is two different things.
No, he wasn't out. I was about to say he wasn't out that one year that Clay was out.
You're right. You're right.
No, he's the last one left.
Ability and mentality is a different thing, but there's also, let's just keep in mind that when someone has established something within the coach, something within the culture. Now, of course, I mean, I'm gonna agree with you about this, right? If he loses, you could lose the culture, right? But also on the flip side, if he does leave, right, it can almost build the culture also, right? It's one of those things where it's like, hey, even though Draymond left, we still have to stand on him as if he's not here and everything.
To your point, that does bring up like when Jordan left the Bulls. Scottie Pippen was an MVP candidate, and he led that team. So that it can be done if the culture is in place. If the right culture has been in place, like you said, it can be carried forward.
Yeah, right. Other pieces around too.
The only thing about Jordan, though, and Draymond, though, if you do the math, I mean, that's a lot of points leaving with Michael Jordan leaving. Draymond's not leaving the Warriors with a lot of points. And plus, the other thing, what I'm really saying is this, right? We talked about this the last part. That kid Kuminga, a healthy Wiseman. Listen, I got the chance to eat. I was listening to you. That kid running the floor, and then they got another dude. I think his name is Moody. Man, I think it's Moody.
Yeah, Moody. It's Moody.
Moody, yeah.
It is Moody.
Oh my God, they got size for days.
They do, but like I said, the reason people keep Draymond is the intangibles. He has the intangibles like Dennis Rodman, stuff you cannot teach. How to guard 1 through 5.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not downplaying.
Yeah,
I'm not downplaying. I'm not downplaying.
I know this. Yeah.
I'm not downplaying this, but I'm also understanding this about what was already built there and what they already got going on. They already have a top 5 coach in the NBA of all time, which is Steve Kerr. You have 2 of arguably top 5 shooters of all time on your team. Is that a debate? I don't think that's a debate, right? Like, there's both of them are
like the first part is debatable, and I'm going to bring it up in another pod.
Yeah.
You don't think Steve Kerr's
that's a different conversation.
If he would have, that's a different conversation. But like I said, that's a different conversation. But second part, I agree with 2 of the great shooters of all time. Yes.
Yes.
Right. And then think about this. Going back to The Last Dance, they have a very similar story to the Bulls. So they have a lot of not just a chemistry on the floor, but they have the storyline and chemistry off the floor too, where they're all playing for something.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, the Warriors.
Again, I still think that I don't think they should rush to think that Draymond is just easily replaced. So I get, he may not be able to do. You can replace the points that he's not. You can make up his points, sure. But like we've been talking about, those other things he does on the floor, not only defensively, but also offensively. Again, him being able to control the offense is what allows Curry and Clay to run around off of those screens. Curry then doesn't have to dribble and play point guard when Green is in the game. So that gives them an added layer to their offense when he's in the game. So I think that folks can't forget all of that because, yes, Kuminga is very, very good as a young player. Maybe he'll be able to develop and do some of those things that Draymond does. But right now, I wouldn't get rid of him. And I don't think they will. Maybe next year when they're talking about extensions and stuff, he might probably not get it. They're going to let him go so they can save that money elsewhere. So that might be part of the reason why this was leaked, to set the stage for all that.
Because it comes down to, are these players that they're trying to keep like once in a blue moon players, like they come around and gone, or are they lifetime players? Like Draymond so far has been a consistent lifetime player.
Oh,
he's been consistent.
One other point that I just learned, I didn't know Draymond did this. I forgot who stated. It was one of the ESPN guys was stating that Draymond also helps them in the draft.
Yeah,
so he's in the room because he's studies the game and he watches these players and whatnot, and helping advise on picking out players and whatnot based off of film and things that he's seen of these players. So again, as Draymond is a very intelligent player, brings a lot to that team on and off the court. So like I said, he's one of those guys I wouldn't just easily just say, "Oh, we can replace him," because there's so much that he does.
Bonus question before we get off. Do you think he should take less money and stay on the team like how you guys Haslam is doing for Miami?
I mean, I think he would, because it's really no point in him leaving the Warriors.
I would
Like
say the same.
if I'm Draymond, I'm staying on. I'm just gonna slowly transition into that office role and keep that going, because there's no. I'm gonna become a player personnel scout, because I don't really see a need for Draymond to have to prove anything on any of the team. Because regardless of what he does, there's going to be a discussion about it.
Yep.
It's like, do I change the narrative by going to another team and try to build up somebody else, or do I just remain here but I fall back? I mean, because like Haslam, he's been a locker room guy. He's never been an out front locker room guy. He's been the guys are like, oh yeah, now we respect him. But then there's other guys who challenge him, so it's different. We see now that I don't think anybody else is going to challenge Draymond, because no one else flinched when he went to go at him. Not until he clocked that boy and knocked that boy out.
And truth be told, looking at the footage, it looked like the norm. Like you be in practice and stuff, and you hear the same old dude, and we all know he was on the team. You know what I mean? There's that one guy that won't shut up, right? He's just like, hey, leave him be. You mean? And then you just hear it.
You know what it reminds me of? Steve Smith.
Ooh.
Steve Smith, the wide receiver. That's what it reminds me of. They say he's known for knocking out young receivers. People who test him.
Corners,
and like you like say anybody, but not even see it like in his reporting style. People try to play him when he called out the what's his name, the Triple Crown winner. He said he's gonna be like that. He's gonna be a beast. He said he called it at the draft. He said Cooper Kupp is gonna be that guy.
He said he should be number one wide receiver pick.
Yeah. He saw all the intangibles that these,
but it was
pro drafters.
It was good that he wasn't the number one pick though.
No, it's good because he went to the team where he got the championship.
Yeah, but not just about going to the championship and everything. Like I think people need to really understand this about football and everything, right? Especially if you play. And I was saying this earlier on the chat. You know what I mean? I know y'all in the chat. The fans don't know, but the chat was going off all day. You know what I mean? I was telling one of our chat members, don't give me something that someone else can do. You mean teach me something that I don't know. You mean everyone can use their Google fingers to tell me about touchdowns and stats, right? I think a lot of people need to understand schemes play a factor for every position on the football field. Only person they probably don't apply for is the punter and the kicker. But everyone else, you mean there's a scheme, there's a philosophy, and all that, right? So all that to be said, it's with Cooper Kupp, and I know we gotta get off. It's just kind of hard right now just to picture him to carry that success to another team because of how much of a genius Sean McVay is when it comes to that offense. All I gotta say is free Odell, get Odell back.
Good point. But to wrap back up, when you were comparing Green to future career like Haslam, I think that will be ideal for him to end his career that way. Because if he does go somewhere else for more money, then it's going to add expectations for him to produce at a high level and be that difference maker on that team, which getting older and whatnot probably is not going to happen. So to do similar to Tim Duncan, Haslam, and all these guys, and just take a lesser role, lesser money, and fade away, I think will be the best thing for him. So I definitely agree with that. So hopefully he goes that route and the team allows him to do so. Now, if there's other issues we don't know about, personalities, like you said, within the organization, and it's not clicking and clashing, all right, then maybe that might be one of the reasons why he has to go somewhere else. And he can't do that in Golden State. But hopefully for his career, that would be ideal. That would be a nice story for him and whatnot. So hopefully that happens.
We'll see. All
All
right,
right,
fellas.
well,
Like and subscribe. Hit the button.
hit that bell.
Hit the button. Hit the button. All right,
Peace.
fellas.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Have a good one.